brain. Welcome into his frequency. Enter at your own risk. Come be at peace with me. Ask the Paul, where we rise and don't fall.
Welcome back to another episode of Baxter's Buzz. I am your host, Baxter E. Hall. Welcome to my brain. Welcome to my frequency. Enter at your own risk. Today, I have a wonderful guest, a returning guest. She's a powerhouse, believe it or not. Um, a friend of mine, she's the Vice President of Leadership and Development for Inforum. Inforum is a nonprofit that's been around about 62 years, right? Really focus on accelerating women in their careers and helping companies just build out their talent pipeline. She's also a 25-year Army vet. Lorrena Black, welcome back to Baxter's Buzz.
Thank you, Baxter. Thank you for having me back. I had so much fun talking with you last time, so I'm very excited to be here today.
Well, we talk enough offline. I think we have some stuff, you specifically, that will benefit other folks. So definitely always, the door is always open for you.
Thanks.
Um, this particular conversation, we really wanted to focus on, Women's History Month, highlighting women every day of the year, but specifically just contributions that women have made and have continued to make. And then with the work that you do at Inforum, it just makes a lot of sense to make sure that you all get another sort of like shout out and you're able to tell folks some of the great stuff that you're doing, right?
Yeah. Well, when we're doing so many great things. So thank you for the opportunity to share it.
So tell me, what is Inforum? I know, some of the work that you all do, but just speak to it in your own words and tell me about
Yeah.
some of the cool things that are going on right now.
Yeah. So, like you said already, Inforum's a nonprofit organization. We've been around for over 60 years. And what I love about Inforum, and I love telling this part of the story, is in 1962, the Detroit Economic Club wouldn't allow women in. So 23 visionary women got together and was like, enough of that. And they created what was called the Women's Economic Club, which is now Inforum. And we went from those 23 women to having over 6,000 members today.
Wow.
And it's such an amazing thing. And it is just my boss, our CEO, Terry Barclay, said during International Women's Day last week that, the power of networks, like networks are so powerful and they're so important. And so we're giving people an opportunity to just build those networks. I had the awesome opportunity at that same event to lead a networking workshop. And it was really cool. We had about 200 people in the room, and just to get to talk about networks, whether you're an introvert and you're terrified of it or you're an extrovert, just why is it important? Why do we need to make it a priority? And I just love that Inforum is creating a space where women can come together and network with each other and be intentional about it.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Networking has this some like negative connotation around it at times. It's like it's a bad word, and people are looking for other words to sort of describe it. And
Yeah.
I think it's all about your intent behind it, right?
Yeah. It's
Don't
it's
get
also about, oh,
no,
sorry.
go ahead.
It's also just the key there is relationships. It's about building relationships. It's funny that you said that about it being just kind of a bad word. As I said that in the workshop, I'm like, how many of you think networking is a dirty word? Like you hear that and you're like, let me run the other way.
Yeah.
Because people do, or they think it's a nice to have and not necessarily a need to have.
Yes.
And I think if people start looking at it from that, it's not meant to be transactional. It is about relationships and building relationships and deepening relationships. And the cool stuff that comes from that is just icing on the cake, I think.
Yes, the intent has to be correct. Like you said, it's all relationships and it's all and we're doing it most of the time anyway. We don't call it that when it's people that we know or that we've known for a long time. It's like, I was teasing my friend and I told her, in my networking workshops, I'm gonna mention this every time. Every time I think about it. We caught up a few weeks ago, and she's telling me about she went to this networking event, and she's like, "Oh
Hmm.
yeah, I thought I would know everyone there because my friend who invited me, I know what she does, and I didn't know anyone there, and I haven't done networking in like it's been like a couple of years." And I was like, "Why are you talking about it like it's a thing that you like it's aerobics. Like this aerobics class that you just like you've been missing." I'm like, you are a business owner. You own two different businesses. You're consulting, you're in and out of spaces. You're networking every day. Like you're networking every week.
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah, you're kind of right. But when we look at it like this thing we have to do, we really lose a lot of the magic, the potential magic there.
Yeah, I think that can happen, but I do think that if it's not your natural thing, or if it's not something you're doing in your job, or you're doing it automatically, you do have to put I think you said it, that intentional lens on it. Like there may be
Yes.
those times where you have to do the thing, where you have to go to the
Yeah.
event, or you have to like
Yes.
be strategic and be intentional for
For
sure.
sure, for sure. But I think when your perspective will determine how, like, how well you do at it and how genuine it is.
Yeah.
But I digress. That's a whole nother topic. But speaking of Inform and these opportunities, the different groups that get together, the events for networking. I mean, I've had the
Mhm.
privilege of attending a couple. And it's just so empowering to see uh, folks at all levels of their career just really looking for that right story, that right person that connects,
Yeah.
with them. And like I always feel like we're all waiting to like receive permission from someone to like
Hmm.
go after it, do your thing, right? And it's love. I love to hear folks coming from different walks of life and kind of their stories and how they landed where they landed.
Yeah. Well, people who are watching this, we did not plan this, but the fact that you're talking about storytelling is so perfect because our annual meeting that's coming up on June 20th, we're partnering with the Smithsonian. And the theme is
Mm,
about becoming visible, the importance of women's stories. So it's so
mm,
cool that you brought that up because there's this really cool opportunity so the Smithsonian is getting ready to build a new women's history museum in DC. And so through our annual meeting, they're collecting stories from women. Like you can either
oh,
type up your story, or you can do a video recording of your story to share, to get recorded, to be archived. And it's such a cool thing. So anybody watching this annual meeting, June 20th, Inforums event, it's going to be such a cool event just in general, but you also get that added opportunity to have your story. It could be your story, it could be about a loved one, it could be about a mentor, it could be about a woman who just made a huge impact in your life.
yeah,
It's so cool.
yeah. Um, you're welcome. I um I love that. I love we are telling stories every day. Sometimes we're not telling them as well as we could. Sometimes
Mhm.
we don't like to bring that attention to ourselves. But when I think about some of the programs that you all have at Inforum, a lot of it is helping people advance in their careers, but then advocate for themselves, right?
Yes.
And you need that story to kind of tie it all together many times, right?
Mhm. Yeah, that's what I do love about my role too, is to the leadership development arm, is we get a chance to bring women together and facilitate those conversations, because it's a good time to come and talk about stuff, and you realize I'm not the only one going through this right now. I'm not the only one feeling this way. And you can do your somebody said this to me. They're like, Lorena, I could Google some training, or I could watch a, you know, different learning module on different sites or
Yeah,
whatever, but the magic and the power comes to be able to be in a room, even whether it's virtual or in person, with other women and hear that they're going through some of the same stuff. And so
yes,
I love that component of the training and the things
yeah,
that we do at Inforum.
yeah. you get people in the room, amazing people in the room, and you don't know what's gonna happen. You
Hmm.
just let it work, right? But sometimes you need somebody to facilitate because I know that I can imagine there's some passionate folks and there's some uh rants and tangents that occur, which is not all bad, but sometimes I'm sure it's like,
Yeah.
hey, we maybe need another group for that. Like let's kind of,
Yeah.
stay on task, right? Because people start to hear these stories and then they have stories that they want to share, right? And it kind of becomes its own thing.
Yeah, no, that's
Yeah.
true. And that's, I think, what where we do is just try to have that combination of let me give you nuggets and some content and some learnings, but also provide a safe space where you can, talk about those things. So,
Yeah,
anyway.
yeah. You talked about contributions and just these amazing people, women in particular. Um Again, it is Women's History Month. And I really want to give you the opportunity to just kind of speak about what that means to you and maybe some folks that have what comes to mind when you think about women's history.
Yeah, I mean, I think one thing I'll say is women have been contributing to, I mean, we contribute so much. There are so many amazing women in history. And when I think about women that I've come encounter with, I think about, all the just awesome women veterans that I've had the opportunity to know, to be friends with, to just be in their space. Think about all the awesome and amazing women I've met through Inforum. But as I think about this, I really, and if I get emotional, I'm so sorry. But my mother, and she's not somebody that would ever make history or somebody else talking about her kind of thing, if that makes
Yeah.
sense. So it's like I think about this woman. My mother was 4'10", maybe 4'9". Just when you talk about people being powerhouse, like she just had, she was a presence, and
Mm.
she worked her life, just for her children, for her. She didn't really go to college. She didn't have a lot of money. She was a certified nurse's assistant back in the day when CNAs made $10 an hour.
Mm.
And she had 6 kids. And she just did the best that she could. But the thing that, when I think about her, I remember, let me back up. When I was a teenager, I could be a jerk, like some teenagers can be. For those of you with teenagers, you know what I'm talking about. But I remember one time my mom, she was very hard on me, of my other siblings. Like she just was so hard on me, and it used to make me so angry. And she's like, I'm hard on you because you're too much like me, and I don't want you to make mistakes that I've made in life.
Mm.
And I remember saying something just really ugly to her, like, I'm not like you, I'd never da
Yeah.
da da. And she passed she passed away in 2004 from lung cancer. She was 55, I was 25. And it was after that I realized, like, I'm proud to be like her. Like, I
Mm.
learned so much about giving and being kind and being strong and working with what you have. And while she'll never be, on a poster or in history books, or other people won't know her, the people that do know her and did get to meet her are so much better off for it. And I'm
Yeah.
so thankful for that she was hard on me and that she
Yeah.
instilled like these things in me. So that's who I want to honor this Women's History Month.
Yeah. Well, let me just say the legacy that our parents leave, that we're leaving, isn't just about what they do
Hmm.
individually. It's a reflection of what you and your siblings have contributed to this world as well,
Yeah.
right? And Tupac Shakur had this quote that says, I may not change the world, but I guarantee you I will spark the mind of
Mm.
the person who does. And I think that um, we, yeah, she may not ever be on a poster, she may not have a book written about her, but we have to make sure that we lift up those people and highlight those folks who poured into us, who've allowed us to do some things
Yeah.
that may be, I think about ripples versus waves, and everyone is in control of their ripples. And then sometimes these waves are developed, and it's like, it's out of our control, but some of the ways that you've created, all the ways that you've created, it's been, based on ripples that she's, made throughout her life and pouring into you. So she has a pretty darn good legacy just from one of her children that I, have the pleasure of knowing. So just, keep that in mind.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I love knowing that she's looking down on me and feeling pretty proud of kind of where we started and where we're going. So
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
happy about that.
You think about people's sort of effort and what they're trying to accomplish, and no one's perfect, but we're working through it. You think about the work that she did. You think about the work that you do today, right? Saying, okay, talking to these women in these roles. Okay, how do we get you to the next level? How do we get you? You got all the fire. Maybe a little bit more direction. Maybe we can help you with the execution piece. I think it makes perfect sense that
I'm laughing because you keep teeing me up for these really great Inforum plugs and you don't even know you're doing it. But we have a program that we're marketing for currently, and it's called Next Up. And it's for emerging leaders in the first early stages of their careers. And it's talking about, what's next? How do you get ahead in your career? How do you avoid typical career derailers? How do you look at your strength, and how do you lead from a place of strength versus focusing on weaknesses? How do you assess your personal values, making sure they align with your organization's values? But that big piece you said is that that what's next, getting ahead, all of that. And it's another just a great opportunity for women to come together and learn and grow.
Yeah. Well, you're welcome. I mean, this is what this is for, right? I mean, Lorrena, thank you for just sharing that story, for just highlighting the work that you and all the wonderful people are doing at Inforum. Lorrena is the VP of Leadership and Development. She's also a 25-year Army vet. It's a big deal. Thank you for your contributions, specifically to the military, your leadership, your representation of the veteran, just demographic that isn't always highlighted, and of course the wonderful work you do at Inforum.
Thank you so much, Baxter. I appreciate you so very much.
Yeah. On behalf of Lorrena, I am Baxter E. I want to let everyone know who is listening or watching this that you are all capable. You just need to embrace your own frequency. Until next time, peace.
Welcome into his brain, welcome into his frequency. Enter at your own risk, come be at peace with me.
Thank you so much for watching this video. If you haven't already, please hit the like button, please subscribe, share, and also hit that notification button as well. Thank you so much.
Financial literacy to authentic Black history, this real rap.